Let's begin, though, with the very latest on the rollout of that coronavirus vaccine. The FDA expected to issue an emergency authorization of Pfizer's vaccine tomorrow after an outside panel voted in favor of granting that emergency use yesterday. Let's bring in Yahoo Finance's Anjalee Khemlani, who's tracking the very latest on this front for us. And Anjalee, you could argue the timing of this certainly couldn't be better, especially considering we saw a 44% jump in the number of deaths week on week.
That's correct, Akiko. And not just the deaths, but also as we see the hospitalizations increase, the concern about the staffing, healthcare workers who are in fact getting sick as they treat coronavirus patients. So this is all really well timed. And of course, we are also waiting for the full picture of what the aftermath of Thanksgiving travel is going to look like. But as it stands right now, yes, an emergency use authorization is expected this weekend as early as Saturday, as the FDA has already notified Pfizer and BioNTech that they are going to get that emergency use authorization and could start getting vaccinations done as early as Monday or Tuesday. We know that healthcare systems are already scheduling their staff to get vaccinated by Tuesday. So it really all works out in that timeline. We know that there are still some concerns, of course, yesterday at that vaccine advisory meeting, even though the recommendation did pass 17-4 with one abstention, the no's were focused on the question at hand, which is 16 to 17-year-olds getting that vaccine, even though the data has not really yet supported that, but saying that, these are the individuals that are going to be going into college and they should be given the vaccine. So a lot of questions also about pregnant women and whether or not they will be receiving the vaccine, as well as the UK reports of allergic reactions, creating some concern about whether or not there are specific individuals that may not be able to get this vaccine right now. All of this is what is really the holdup on the FDA moving forward, as they have to address that in the information that is going to be disseminated to frontline health workers and health providers shortly. Meanwhile, we also know the GlaxoSmithKline and Sanofi vaccine did hit a road bump. They did not see any protection, for the elderly that they were testing in their trial. So it looks like that vaccine is actually going to end up being bumped out to later in 2021. So, while we are hoping that more vaccines come to the fore, we know that Moderna next week also has their vaccine advisory committee meeting. So we'll be at least getting that. That one is also expected to move through pretty quickly. Akiko?
Yeah, Anjali, let me just jump in here too, because we're talking about that Pfizer vaccine, and obviously it gets a lot of the attention since it's going to be the first one, the one that's already rolling out there in the UK. But when we look past that, obviously these other ones are going to be pretty important in meeting the demand to get to herd immunity. How big and how important do you think that is, that we are seeing those delays in the GlaxoSmithKline vaccine, the Sanofi vaccine, to meet the levels that doctors and medical professionals want to see next year?
Well, it's a mixed view, right? Because they were a little bit further behind anyway. We know that Johnson & Johnson is one of the others, as well as Novavax, that are a little bit further ahead, as well as AstraZeneca. While there is some confusion about their vaccine and the results, many experts I talked to say they do expect it to move ahead. So as it stands right now, we still have a lot of options to meet that global demand. A really important point about Johnson & Johnson's is that it's a single dose vaccine, and that's going to play a really important role in how much more of the vaccine can be distributed and be utilized. And that's actually related to Pfizer, because we know that we saw the really strong results from that phase 3 after the first dose. And so that was one of the points discussed, was whether or not Pfizer could end up being a single dose vaccine. It's still a debate, no clarity on that right now, but the officials from the company do say they're going to be looking into that.